Today's show is sponsored by Squarespace, the #1 online website platform to help you turn that side hustle into a reality. Today I'm going to show off the best watches you can buy without having any regrets whatsoever. Let's get into it! Yes, and welcome to the Mad Watch Collector Show. Now, if you've been in this watch collecting game for long enough, undoubtedly you will have some watch buying or selling regrets. Yes, the watch you bought on a whim, on a drunken Tuesday night. There's money in the bank account, quick, we gotta spend it. My journey is littered with watches I did love at first, but over time ended up not wearing, to only then eventually move them on. But there are watches in my collection that I have had for a while, and honestly I don't think I'll ever get rid of them. So how do you know you got a watch you'll never regret buying? Excellent question there, and it's an easy answer really. If you bought a watch that in 6 months to a year's time you still enjoy wearing, now, like me, you may have a watch box of 10, 20, 30 watches, but for some reason, you always pick this watch up, slap it on your wrist, and whip out the door like you're on some sort of autopilot mode. Do you, after a year, 2, 3, or even 5 years, still look at your watch and smile? In my collection, I've got a few right now that I can pretty much tick every box, and wholeheartedly, I mean, you know, wholeheartedly, with long-term ownership experience, would recommend them to you guys. Are you no regrets ready? Let's go. Let's start by talking about Casio, shall we? Because like the Pringles, you can pop till you drop without showing any regret at any time whatsoever. Because usually, buying a Casio does not mean spending a hell of a lot of money. Not if you stick to the budget Casio route. Now, I could talk for hours, days, on the amount of great bargain Casios you can buy right now on the market, but today I'm going to showcase the 3 I'm wearing the most. Starting with this beauty, the AE 1600H. Now, if you're a fan of reading the time on your wrist a mile away, this is the best way to do it. Now, like a lot of people, I do enjoy the AE 1500, but the case is, well, it's slightly too big. This is its slightly smaller brother with a screen just as legible. Now, for an overall package, what you get for your 20 odd pounds is very hard to beat. So you get 10 years battery life, 100 meters water resistant, 5 alarms, countdown timer, stopwatch, and a dual time, great stainless steel pushers that are quite easy to push in, a decent LED backlight, and just a watch that looks like it's a G-Shock, but not at G-Shock prices. This one I honestly don't regret buying, and since being back at work, I've worn this a few times. Go on, treat yourself. The link to this watch is in the description below. You can't go wrong. You won't regret it. I don't regret that. Actually, I might go and get it. Hope it's all right. Right, we're going up in price a little bit. A couple of G-Shocks, and 2 that I have been recommending a long time. One is the G9000 Mudman, a watch that came in the 2000 teens, and when they designed and built this thing, well, they broke the mold. I think this is the best looking G-Shock you can buy, and you can just about still buy it. For anyone that wants to get into G-Shocks but are scared off because they think it's going to be too big on their wrist, the G9000 is the perfect way to start. The only thing you have to be aware of, this is a mud resistant G-Shock. We have shrouded buttons over the pushers, which prevents any sand or mud getting into the module. The buttons are slightly hard to push in. I love every other aspect of this watch, from the strap to the exposed bezel showing through the resin, to the little mole on the case back, and the dual illuminator that not only lights up the LCD display, but the text around it. On Amazon, these are going for around £80. They are slightly going up, but listen, G-Shock don't make these anymore. So if you want to get your hands on one, £80 is still a good price for an absolute icon. Now, before I show you the next watch, I have to talk about today's sponsor, who are Squarespace. If you have a hobby and you're thinking of maybe turning it into a business, you need a professional website. Not one that has been put together with sellotape and clip art. No, a sophisticated, professional looking, easy to use, showing your products or your services in the best light you can shine at it. And with hundreds upon hundreds of different templates to choose from, which you can all customize, there really is no excuse in 2025 to put yourself on the website map and make something that you would be very proud of. Click the link in the description below. You're going to find some discount to your first Squarespace purchase. And remember, think of your customers. Would they want to buy into anything if they clicked on a website that looked like it was done by me? No way. Get on Squarespace and turn your dreams into a reality. The other type of G-Shock I need you to look at is a memory in pixel display one. A MIP. This GBD 200, it's one of my favourite Gs. It has the sort of resemblance of a G-Shock Square, but done in a more modern package. The strap is so much more premium. The case feels premium. Unlike a lot of older G-Shocks, these buttons are quite easy to push in. And look at that display, people. So easy to read, and honestly, one of the best watches I've ever bought. There is a trade-off. With memory in pixel, you don't get 1/100th of a second stopwatch. It's just 1 second, and when you push the buttons in, there's a weird aftertone note instead of when you push it like regular Casios, if you listen. Slightly unnerving. This watch has smart watch capabilities. You can connect this to your phone via Bluetooth, but I don't. I merely use this watch for telling the time and using the stopwatch.
Hello. Hello.
This is also a step counter as well, and you don't need to be connected to anything in order to get that data. Now, Casio states that this watch has a battery life of around 1 year. Now, that is dependent on how much you use it. If it's connected via Bluetooth and you're getting alerts from your phone constantly, this watch also has vibrating haptics, then yes, maybe it would last only a year. I've had this almost, I've got to say 3.5 years now. And look at the display, look at it. That is not fading anytime soon. If you want this watch just for telling the time and the traditional way you use a G-Shock, don't worry about the battery life. This is a beauty. Right, Casio out the way, let's talk about a Seiko. Now, some of you out there don't like quartz. Some of you out there don't like mechanical. I love everything, and particularly love the convenience of picking up a watch, sticking it on your wrist, and not worrying about whether the time is right. Sometimes we just want a watch for those type of days. What about the 3 Casios? Yeah, we're not talking about the Casios, but this watch I bought at the start of the year, it's just been so hard not to wear. It makes me feel good, it makes me smile, it reminds me of Seikos of old, and it's just an overall fantastic package. And of course, I am talking about the SSC 9471P1, the Seiko Prospect Solar Chronograph that is adorned in the colours of the famous 6139 automatic chronograph that was made so iconic by Colonel William Pogue when he sent one of those watches up into space. And even though this is not a vintage watch and is not trying to look like a Pogue, I just think Seiko absolutely nailed the design and colour palette. There has not been a bad photo or video of this watch, and this is one of those watches that I've just taken out of the watch box, stuck on my wrist, and not even thought about it. Because in my head I'm thinking, MWC, you know you're gonna like this when you see it on your wrist. Yeah, those 3 mini subdials are also the technology that pulls in the sunlight that charges the battery in the watch. But from the applied markers to that Pepsi coloured aluminium bezel and a pretty darn decent bracelet you get with this watch. For £600, that's what you can buy it for these days. Honestly, you'll never regret buying this watch. It ain't going nowhere from my collection.
Could you just click that like button, please? It really helps the channel. Thank you.
Next up, bronze. Yes, there's a huge group of people out there that love the idea of owning a bronze watch, but are too scared to take the plunge or pull the trigger. But I did pull that said trigger and bought a field watch with a bronze case. For me, a field watch, it feels earthly. And so a deep, dark, earthly patina discoloration seems perfect in my brain with a field watch. And the one I chose was the Vertex M36. A case design that celebrates the Caliber 59, which was one of the Dirty Dozen watches issued to the British military back in World War II. The dark British racing green, together with the earthly, dark, deepened patina colour, is an absolute winner. So here is when I first reviewed the watch for the first time, and it's this goldy, very shiny colour, isn't it? And now, after 6-7 months of ownership, here is what living in the south of England has done to my bronze watch. And you know what? I love it. I love the fact it's aged with me, and I'm so glad I chose a field watch to be my first proper owned bronze beauty. There are ways of getting that new shiny look back, just in case you don't like the patina. If you are on the fence about buying a bronze watch and you're worried about how you might not like it in 5-6 months time, don't spend too much on it. Because as my old auntie used to say, the less you spend on something, the less you'll regret it. Very wise.
Hello.
Okay, obviously I'm going to talk about the Black Bay 58. I got the OG back in 2020, which was a birthday present from my wife. Since then, I've found it very hard to review a watch without comparing it to the 58. Because in terms of specs, operating, brand heritage, and design, there still is nothing really that beats it for me. Now, a year after owning the 58, I bought the blue 58. Why would you get the same watch twice? And yeah, I could sort of understand. I used to think that the OG was very, very versatile. But instead of me automatically picking up that 58 and putting it on my wrist, I do it with the blue version more. And weirdly, I think this blue one is more versatile than the OG. But the overall look and colour of it just gives me ultimate tooly sporty vibes and reminds me of the Tudor Submariners back in the late 60s. This has now become my favourite out of the two. I can't sell the OG as it was a present, but I feel like I'm forcing myself more to wear it than this one. Sometimes in the morning, this thing just creeps on the wrist without me even noticing. Let me just twist that bezel. Ooh, it's very hard to beat. Ceramic, ball-bearing loveliness. Now, there's a lot of people out there I know that I've said in the past, it was too boring, I sold it. This line represents excitement, and this line represents the Tudor Black Bay 58. Now, even though it never goes anywhere near the excitement line, it always stays just below. That's the sign that your watch is going to stay in the collection for a long time. It's not a trending watch. It's not an out there watch. There are watches out there that are going to age with you. And it doesn't matter if you stop wearing flares or you've started to wear outlandish t-shirts with a spandex jockstrap. These watches are still not going to look out of place, you know. This one, well, it might look good with a jockstrap, but after a couple of years owning it, let's see if it's still on the wrist. But the Black Bay 58 Blue, well, it's a companion for as long as I love watches. So there we go, watches I don't regret buying and never will do. I'd love to know in the comments below, are there any watches that you have bought that you definitely don't regret buying and want to share with us lot? One thing I do like to do when I'm thinking about purchasing a watch is imagine, would I like to wear this in a year's time? And can I see myself wearing it in every situation I'm in my weekly day-to-day life? If the answer is no, well, there's red flags already. I, for one, hate to have a watch that just sits in the watch box, not moving. If you haven't worn a certain watch for a while now, ship it off and give the space to a watch you are going to wear. Thank you so much for watching till the end. If you want a bit more of the Mad Watch Collector channel, we've got a Patreon now. See the shows before anyone else, behind behind the scenes content, blooper reels, members only chat, and get your name credited at the end of every show like this lovely lot. But if I've got you for a few more minutes, and I hope I have, why don't you click this one? You'll love it. Go on. Go on, it's sensational. How did you get on that wrist? See what I mean? It just creeps on, you know? Click it. Go on, click it. Go on, you'll love it. Go on, click it.